Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sweet Talks podcast, quarantine edition. Welcome. My name's Chantal, aka Sweet Talk 777 on Instagram. Don't know who's going next.
And I'm Nakima.
And I'm Rihanna.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about body shapes. Last week we were talking about hair, now we're talking about bodies. Might as well just keep going the whole full hug, innit? So, we were previously actually talking just before we started recording about a comment made by the actress Lisa Raye McCoy, who basically said that there are that Kim Kardashian and her sisters had basically caused for everyone to have the same body shape, and that every young person or every female is feeling that they have to have this body shape, and every female that's coming up, like every young female coming up now as well, is feeling that they have to have the same body shape in order to secure the bag or to secure their paycheck or whatever else. So we were discussing the pros and cons of this, so let's get cracking again. So who wants to get it started? Anybody?
You?
Me?
Oh.
You know what's saying the most? Okay. All right. So I would say, in my opinion, that I do feel like they've influenced, in terms of Kim Kardashian and them guys, I do feel like they've influenced quite a lot of females to have a specific body type. And it's actually a body type that was ridiculed at one point. I know because I have that body type. So I remember being bullied, and I remember being called BBC when I was younger, and it stood for Big Bottom Chantal. And then they said that my bottom was so wide that you could screen, programs off of it. So hence the name BBC. Shout out to all my school friends. Thanks. Sorry. But now that is actually something that people are paying for. Like, people will willingly go to a surgeon, be like, "Oh, can you transfer some fat, please, back there?" But back a day, people would be saying, like, "Nah, I want a small behind. Don't want to have no meat on me. I want to be like this." And anybody who looks like me, or anybody who dared to have any sort of curves, was basically ridiculed or told that you're too big or that you need to lose weight, even when you were perfectly healthy.
It's really such a shame, and it recycles itself, because I remember being younger at school, having larger lips than the average girl, because it was a predominantly white school, and being called rubber lip. And now people inject their lips. So it's mad. It's mad. It's like a recycle. And also, I remember, who else was it? Even Marilyn Monroe. It was a trend back in the 60s to be a size 14, 16. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, the mainstream media perpetuate this toxic ideology of what a woman should look like, and it's usually okay when it's a white woman, because Kardashian is white, and so is Marilyn Monroe, and so is, what is it, Lara Croft? What was her name?
What, the game?
No, she played in the first movie. She acted.
Oh, Angelina Jolie. When she had thick lips. Yeah.
Angelina Crusty. All right, that's an name. No, God bless her. Yeah, so she had big lips, and that's when it was cool. It was always cool when a European woman, that's my point, has these assets, when actually we have them when we're quite young, by the way, as Black girls. We mature a lot more quicker. I don't know about you. In general, we do. And it's just sad. It's sad. It's a shame, and we need to stop. We need to censor it. We really do. No platform.
True. No platform it. I think she froze. Nakima. So, Rihanna, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like what we were saying earlier, once upon a time we were put in cages and ridiculed and laughed at and paraded around like we're, Godzilla in a zoo somewhere. Um, and also, at one point we were like repeatedly, while being ridiculed, repeatedly raped and things like that, and looked at very sexually and lustfully and whatever all the other words you can think of. But piggybacking off.
Piggybacking off, yeah.
Piggybacking
Can you hear
off.
me now, girl?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear now.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Off what Nakima said about us black girls or black women maturing a lot quicker than others. If you look at a black girl who's like 13, 14, physically her body is of a different shape to a non-black girl who's 13 or 14.
Very
And
true.
I think, don't correct me if I'm wrong, I think our spines are different. I think they're a bit more of an S shape. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read somewhere, that our spines and our bone mass or whatever it
Our bone
is called.
density is higher.
Yeah. So anyhow, saying all that to say, sometimes I find that our girls are over sexualized because they look as if they are like 18 and they're really 13, or 21 and they're 16. Is it wrong? Definitely. But I think that is part of it.
Yeah.
So then I feel like nowadays you'll see non-black girls not almost mimicking what black girls are doing. So for example, I recently got TikTok, and when I look through the TikTok thing and I see like young black girls, like for example, let's say, like the trend now is crop tops and high-waisted jeans and things like that, and you can see like young girls on there already filled out, you know what I mean, and they're young but already filled out physically. And then you can see now, I've noticed that a lot of non-black girls are starting to wear high-waisted jeans to kind of give the allure, like give the look as if there's more behind, and start kind of mimicking certain things in that way. And so I just think like I understand what Lisa's saying, and I agree that at one point it was like the most disgusting thing ever. How dare you be with a black woman with a big bum and big boob, and do you know what I mean? Like, and now it's how dare you have a flat bum? Do you know what I mean? Like, and especially as a black girl, it's kind of like, if you're a black girl who hasn't got a bum, it's kind of like,
what happened?
Yeah, like, why don't you have a bum? So normally you've either got a bum or boobs, or you've got both, or you've got one or the other. So yeah, I think it's hard. I feel like either way we can't win. Because what can you do? What can you do? And I think apart from just kind of educating and calling people out on their BS, unfortunately, the Kardashians, not just the Kardashians, we know it's not just them, but just for the sake of the conversation, the Kardashians and any other group of people, they're able to make money off the things that we were traumatized for.
Very much so. But what do you think that maybe that this whole like, you need to look like a specific body type will do to, in fact, I can't even just say it's just females that get this, because there's even a new term that's called bigorexia. I don't know if you've heard that. But basically, it's when men are trying to go to the gym so much so that they look like get a specific body type as well. So they get the six packs, they get the big arms and whatever else. I don't know why most of them leave out their legs. Like, you're gonna get big everywhere. But that's by the by. But like, but there's actually like a thing like that. So like they'll go to like the saunas and stuff, and they'll put we call it cellophane, cling film around
Yeah,
their waist and stuff. Go into the sauna, try and sweat out as much as they can. Go to the gym, do the same thing, and then like just so that they can get their
like
muscles
plastic
popping.
bags over them.
Yep, just so they can get their muscles popping. So what do you think? I would say that these two distinct body types, so being really curvy, and I guess really muscular, must be doing for, you know, like the people who don't have those body types.
Well, I am the person that doesn't have that body type. So it's difficult because I wake up some mornings and I'm like, I'm fat and I'm sexy and I'm fat, and
There it
boy,
is.
it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I have stretch marks just like everybody else, and I have rolls just like everybody else,
Mhm.
and I know there are people out there that are attracted to that. So,
Well, you're getting married, so yes.
well, yeah, but I'm speaking generally. I know I'm getting married, but I'm speaking
I
generally.
know, I know, I know. I'm just playing.
Yeah, so there are men, women. I mean, like, yeah, my man, he loves it, but there are men, women, who that's what they're looking for. So
Definitely.
I think it's like anything. I think a lot of it just comes back to, I suppose, the individual and confidence wise. And I feel sometimes it feels like, okay, cool, just that it is what it is. Now I just need to love my fatness and just live my life, sort of thing. And then other times it's like, ugh, I, I don't I don't want to admit it, but I want to look like that.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it
Mhm.
is like I want to, you know, yeah, like I want to have that shape and I want to have that hourglass figure and I want my belly to be small and my bum to be big and my you know, like you want all that,
Mhm.
because it's perpetuated so much, it's put out there so much, it's designed
Yeah.
so much, and everybody around you wants that too. So, for example, if you were like me who felt like really unattractive your whole life, and the people that you were attracted to were attracted to that,
Yeah, I get you.
you then feel like, okay, but the only way I'm going to be worthy of being wanted is to look like that.
Mhm.
So then some people will go to the extremes of um, trying to look like that, i.e., they might, start dieting or um, starving themselves or
Mhm.
surgery or whatever,
Mhm.
or they might do what I did and do the opposite, is overeat
Yeah.
emotionally.
Emotionally eating.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, emotional eating or yo-yo diet or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's difficult. What does help is that I have an array of friends who are different sizes,
Yeah.
which is really good. Um, I have my skinny minis and I have my thick and sexies. So we also something else that I thought about, um, as well as people's preferences. Some people prefer smaller women, or men or whatever, bigger, whatever. Um, Also, I think a lot of it is, for me, it's my view of myself, self-actualization, all that great stuff. But my view of myself, but also my view of myself was heavily based on other people's view of me.
Got you.
Um,
Which is
and I
common.
think, yes, yes. And I think something that I would do if I'm ever blessed to have children is do the things that I don't think my parents or my family did for me, which is affirm me from young. So that's something that I believe that I will be doing,
Mhm.
i.e., telling me that just because I don't look like a stick thing rail doesn't mean that I'm not attractive. Because actually, I had the opposite. So I remember my grandparents I absolutely love and are the light of my eye. I remember when I was younger, my nan used to tell me, all the time. I don't know whether it's a Jamaican thing, maybe it's a Jamaican thing, I don't know. But she used to tell me all the time, excuse me, if I don't lose weight, I'm not going to get married.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
Caribbean thing, I think.
you know, if I don't, back then I was walking a bit, I think I was pushing my bum out too much. I don't think it was conscious. I think I was just doing it. Anyway, she was like, you know, you need to walk up straight or whatever. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with it. But she was saying that, like, if I don't lose weight, I'm not going to get married. No one's going to want to be with me. Nobody wants a fat girl, all these things. And then at that time when I was going to school, our school was predominantly white. I think at the time there was only two fully black people, and everybody else, well, I think there's like 3 or 4 mixed race people. Everybody else was white.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Did your nan have weight on?
At the time, yeah. At that time, yeah. But everybody did in my family at the time. Everyone was, well, not everybody. Well, everyone had like between different sizes. Everyone was different shapes and sizes. But and I think now looking back on it, she probably was trying to be supportive and loving in the best way she knew how. At the time, it was just very hurtful. Because I just wanted to feel accepted. And then I would go to school and everybody else would be slim.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy that actually the other day, me and my partner was looking back on my prom pictures from secondary school. Boy, I was thick and sexy. I was like, wow, like, I'm really like hot. Like I was like, I like how I looked. But back then, everybody made me feel as if I was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I remember showing my mum, I was like, Mum, do you remember this? Because I remember the dress and everything, because I got from next and everything. I was like, Mum, do you remember this time? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I think the dress that I got into was like a 16 or something. And I remember I was saying to Mum, do you remember this period? And she was like, yeah. I said, Mum, you and Dad and everybody in the family made me feel like I was so fat. And compared to now and then, boy, if I could go back to that size,
I know the feeling.
I was like, there was nothing wrong with me then. I was like, and I was just looking back, I was like, oh my gosh. And I said to Mum, all that did now, looking back on it, is make me get bigger. That's all I've done is just got bigger. In between those years, I've lost weight and then put it all back on. But still, I was thinking, God, and now at this stage, at the size I am, I'll be happy at 16. I'll be happy at size 16 if I can get in that. Do you know what I mean? So, saying all that to say, what Lisa's saying, I agree that, you know, at one point in time, we was made fun of.
Yeah.
At one point in time, it was very unattractive to look this particular way, to have this hourglass shape naturally. And sometimes I do get a bit frustrated that when one does something, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when another, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes from a bigger racial issue.
Yeah.
As a whole,
really
you know, another thing in itself. So yeah, anybody else?
I actually remember.
Sorry, I love it. Please go. I just wanted to big up Rihanna for the share. Love it.
It's a good share, man, definitely. But I do remember looking at Lisa Raye. I think as a teenager. Do you remember there was a show? I can't remember what the name of the show was, and it had like it's supposed to be based on like Will Smith's real life. Like, was it All of Us? You know, I was thinking All of Us in my head, but I was like, I don't think that was the title. Yeah.
And her body was amazing, and it still is.
You know what? That's the first time I felt comfortable with my own body.
Really?
Because I looked at her and I was like, oh my god, she's so beautiful. And I was like, but her body shape's like mine. Well, not the same, but like curvy. Do you get what I mean? And because like for the longest time that was kind of seen as being a no-no, or even like, so I was a ballet dancer for a very long time. 10 years.
Me too.
Yes.
Oh, not that long.
Yeah, it was a long time. So about 10 years or so. And from quite a young age, because I developed pretty young.
Early. Yeah.
Pretty early. I started to get curves and stuff, but I remember like my teachers getting at me, my classmate, well, not even my classmates, like the older girls were kind of like, oh, there's certain things that you can do, you know, to try and like make sure you stay small and blah blah blah. So I genuinely thought there was something wrong with me. Plus, on top of that, I got the kids at school teasing me because I got a big ass. And then at home, my mum's like, you know what, I tried to tell. But the thing is that my stomach, until I got to about 25, like my stomach was never big. It was just always flat, man. It's completely flat. Everything else just went wherever the hell it wanted to. But my stomach always stayed small. But like, yes, people be on me like, nah, you shouldn't do this. Shouldn't try and do that. Blah 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 blah. And it just, I know it had an effect on me, because it definitely had an effect on the way that I was eating. And you're right. So like, there were times when I was restricting like crazy, or I would eat and run to the bathroom, or like I would do a whole. Well, in fact, it was one of the girls at ballet that showed me that how to make yourself ill.
Bulimic,
yeah. So, and that went on for some time, and like my relationship with food took a long time to kind of like be like, it's just fuel. For me to actually get to that point, just be like, it's just fuel. It's just how you know,
survive
get through life. But it became like a really massive thing, and I sometimes get worried, especially like around people who want to achieve particular body types that isn't your body type. So if I knew then what I know now, that there is no way in hell you're supposed to be lanky and smart, that's just not you, because that's just not how you're built. Your muscles, even if I look at my muscles right now, like on my legs just alone, I can see my hips coming out like this. I can't even get it in frame on the camera. Like my hips are literally just out there. So I think if I knew then what I know now in terms of like, yo, your body shape cannot be that, then I don't actually know if I would have tried, actually. I might have still done this.
So maybe you would have considered a different option, maybe there would have been more options open to you if you had that opportunity.
It's possible.
And that's what I'm saying, like a lot of it comes from those that are around us, like their unwillingness to, I don't know,
accept what we look like and who we are for what we are.
Yeah.
But the disappointment that you feel when you don't achieve that as well is very disheartening.
Definitely.
Because I remember
all that negative voices in the back of your head.
And then yeah.
You know what? It's crazy. Like I remember when I lost quite a bit of weight, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you look so good!" And I was like, "Thank you." And I was like, "So what? I look like a tramp before." But do you know what I mean when I'm saying
I know
that? Like,
exactly what you mean.
How somebody didn't compliment me before like this? I mean, not say that no one ever did, but it wasn't to this point. Like, it wasn't to this extreme. Like, so what? I only look good when I was small. And I remember actually when I was growing up, my family used to always say to me, and I don't think they meant any harm by it. Rihanna, you got really long fingers. Right, from my dad, got really long fingers. You got piano fingers. That means you should be small.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The weight of my fingers determine the weight of my body.
I mean, people are just
my fingers are long. I don't think I'm meant to be small.
Same.
Might be meant to be smaller, but not small. Nah.
I was supposed to be smaller because my fingers are small. My fingers are skinny, they used to say.
Okay. That's interesting. No.
We feed into this bullcrap. We feed into this ideology of what people should look like according to height and ethnicity. It's ridiculous. It's all ridiculous.
It really is. Because there are multiple body types in everywhere. Multiple body types everywhere. And I'm not sure. I don't even know if the fashion industry have anything to blame for this as well, though. Because I know at one point they were wanting people who were size zeros. So in the UK, that would be a size 4.
It's a stupid size.
It's a very, very sickly size.
Stupid size for adults.
But then it took them a while to even like accept things like plus size models. It took them years.
Still?
And even true. Even now, and even if you're a plus size model and you don't have a certain body shape, being a plus size model, you're still hard to get booked. So I think it's just a bit, I don't know. I don't even know if that's got anything as well to add to it. So maybe it's not just Kim Kardashian and those guys like saying that that's what you need to support.
They're all into it, absolutely. This one woman was telling me once, a friend of mine, how actually it's more depressing if someone goes into a shop to actually buy their clothes, because they make it in a way that it fits just to a certain degree, and it just makes you buy more and more. There's a tactic to it. I don't know what it is, but there's a psychology to it. The type of clothing that's out there for us to look at when all this madness wasn't about. But you know what I mean? Going into the shop in the store.
Okay, so like a size 14 would probably be like a size 14 majority of the way, but maybe like a size 13 and a little bit someplace else.
Yeah, that would make sense. Clothes that are size 10 and they seem a little bit bigger than a size 12 one, or the same size as a size 12, that I've purchased different shops, different stores.
Yeah, different shops have different sizes, which is weird. I've always thought that's weird.
Sense, does it?
No.
That's why I used to say for a while I was a size 13, and people would look at me like, what do you mean size 13? I'd be like, well, I'm a size 13, in between 12 and 10.
But US does have in-between sizes, though. The US does.
Yeah, they do.
So
yeah, but we're just behind and everything.
Behind, I think it's a laziness, man. I think it's
maybe.
I think there's a tactic behind it, maybe even.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but American has bad clothes, man. Their clothes are nice, man.
They are, but I would still say that they're just as bad, though.
They are just as bad. They are just as bad.
I'd say that they're just as bad. Like, they cater to the different sizes, granted, but I think that they can be just as bad in terms of, like, trying to change up stuff just so consumerism is there. But yeah. Anywho, back to the topic. So what about like maybe other body shapes? So we kind of talked about curvy people. What about people who are slimmer? Do we think that that's not something that they experience? Do we think that that's something?
I'm sure they do. I remember. Does everyone know Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child?
Yes.
I remember she was talking about, in one of the documentaries that she did, she was talking about how she absolutely hates being skinny. And it's funny, I know quite a few slim people, friends that I have, who hate being slim. Absolutely hate being slim. But anyway, and she was saying that when she was in the group with them, she would have to get her like tops made. I mean, all of them had them made, but she has to get hers like custom made and things like that, because Beyonce's mum used to make them apparently, or something like that.
Yeah.
And she was saying that she used to absolutely hate it because when hers got made, there was too much space in her boob area because she didn't have much boobs. So she was saying that she absolutely hated that part of being slim, because she was like, everything else was okay, but then when it came to that part, everybody else naturally had something and she had nothing. And then later on in life, she got a boob and whatever. But I hear a lot of slim people. I remember I had a friend in school who's naturally slim and still is slim and been slim all her life. And I remember years ago she used to hate being so slim because she was like, at least you can. She used to feel almost different to everybody else, because you would think as a big girl, me being a big girl, that there's probably more options for her because she is slim. But the thinner you are, the less options there are. That makes sense as well. So because for example, if you are a size 4, at that time there wasn't a lot of size 4s. It was 8, 6, and more up. So that was just an example. So she would get frustrated because there wasn't a lot of things for her, and then people also make comments like, "You're too skinny," you know what I mean? And she would feel a way about it. Recently, when I saw her at my party, I was like, "Oh, she's got thicker." And I said to her, "Oh, you've got thicker," and then she was like, "Oh no," and I said, "Oh, it's that love weight, isn't it? Because you're happy," which is nice for her, but she's always been slim. So when I saw her big, I was like, oh, okay, and it suits her. It looks fine. But I'm sure they feel it too, as much as us big people feel it. I'm sure they must feel something too. I'm sure family members say stuff like you're too skinny, you're anorexic because we're ignorant, or
Yeah.
whatever the things that people say, to make
Or
them
you
feel bad.
need two dumpling, man.
Yeah, or you're too mager, especially if you're a slim one in your family and everybody else is bigger.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
I
I've
can
never thought
relate
about
to
it that
that.
way. Go on.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause, I got some round sisters, God bless them. And my mum's round, and it used to be a thing. It used to be a thing where you'd get. I mean, there's a sitcom, a cartoon. I don't one called Ren and Stimpy. I don't know if anyone's
Oh,
heard of
I
it.
remember that. That was so funny.
no, before my time.
Red and Stimpy
This is
was
way before your
hilarious.
time. So I'd do Ren, and my sister would be Stimpy. Does that make sense? It would just be like,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then obviously you kind of you don't necessarily want to put on weight. Then you don't want to be cast as the odd one out if there's a lot of people around you have weight on.
Yeah.
I never felt insecure about it, really. I didn't like the shape of my body anyway, to be fair. I didn't like the shape of
Oh
my body.
yeah. Okay. Sorry, Nakima. I've seen them before. I just didn't know what they were called. But okay, thank you.
I just showed I showed everybody who Ren and Stimpy is.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I didn't feel it might have subconsciously been insecure. I didn't like the shape of my body, but I was okay with
Really?
the size.
What did you
Yeah.
want to be
You know such a
shaped?
nice body now.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why?
I always, maybe I'm ignorant. I've always thought that you just were like that.
No. I mean, I didn't want to be attractive at some stages of my teenage life.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't want to be attractive at all.
So I think everybody goes through that.
I thought that was just a me thing. I was like, okay. I just didn't want to be noticed. I was like, just leave me alone, man.
What?
I
Didn't want to be noticed. Just left me.
Invisible, leave me alone.
So I tried to hide my femininity some way. Tried to be a bit more of a tomboy, maybe. Definitely not
Me too. Basketball. Basketball
Played
became a thing.
basketball, was with the man's them more time. Do you know what I mean? And it was a protective thing as well for me. I wanted to protect myself. My mom wasn't necessarily the teacher of relationships or of emotions and feelings, so I shut it down for a little bit.
I heard that. I heard that. Okay. So if at the time then, what kind of body shape were you wanting?
Toned and muscular and 6-pack or 4-pack because I'm a female, and the kind of ripped look. That's what it was, and I wasn't ripped. I did have ass and breasts, and I was more jiggly with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, I'm kind of glad that I cleared that up, because I genuinely thought that was like.
Nope, not with you at all, man. Trust me.
I did not know that was a thing. Okay.
I went through that from the age of 12 to about 17. Yeah, about 17, 12, 17. About 5 years. We do that stage.
I think mine went even. I think mine was there till I went to uni. More so, like I was very tomboyish. I would always wear like baggy jeans and like big jumpers and whatever else. Like, yeah.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, I'm just there thinking like, okay. Did not know that was a thing, but cool. I'm glad it is, because at least that means I'm a little bit more normal now. Or all three of us just happen to go on the same journey.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I can't say that I was a tomboy or anything like that. I don't think I was. I just felt just really ugly and really unattractive, and I was the darkest out of everybody. I was the biggest out of everybody. Um, yeah, I just didn't want to be. I just didn't want to be noticed. I felt very unattractive. So I can't say I was a tomboy. I just wasn't anything. I just didn't really make any effort. Um, until later on in my teens, and my mum was like, "Okay, I think you should start wearing makeup and start taking a bit of pride in yourself." And I started looking, and then I fell in love with makeup, and then I started to actually, do stuff. But other than that, I was just like, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and it was just laziness.
I
It
can't
was
believe I'm
laziness.
still like that sometimes.
Yeah. It was that movie with the emotions? It's just like, yeah, I was me.
Oh, oh, what is that?
But
It's a
that one,
Pixar movie as well. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
remember what it's
But
called now.
that one anyway.
Mm.
Um, it's just laziness, but it's just my laziness was rooted in insecurity. I just felt really unattractive.
Mhm.
Um, and like I'm a what's it called? I'm a ruminator as well. So and I'm a spiral ruminator. So what I mean by that is like I'm much unattractive. So if I'm unattractive, no one's gonna want me. No one's gonna want me. I'm never getting married. No one's getting married. Never children. That's what
That
I just
yeah, okay.
Sacrificing, yeah.
yeah. That's thank you catastrophizing. So I was just like, mind you, I could be 15 at this point, but all right, I've realised at 15, at 11 o'clock every morning, I'm not getting married, so no point me trying to look bad. Nice. So, all right, life's over. And that would
All or
be,
nothing in it, yeah.
Mm. Oh, yeah,
yeah. So,
definitely sounds like all or nothing. Yeah.
I mean, I've got better now, kind of grew out of that a little bit, but at the time, that's what it was. And especially
Mm.
because I felt like all my friends around me were so beautiful. I felt
Yeah.
like I go to school at the secondary school and have my group, and everyone's really beautiful and smart. And I go to church, and everyone's really beautiful and smart. And then like my family members, oh, everyone was so beautiful, and I'm just like,
Mm.
ugh,
Mm.
that's what I felt like. So yeah, I felt like there was no point.
Mm. Do you think there could
Mm.
be a danger in that though? I'm just thinking, like,
Yeah,
oh, go for it then.
I said yeah, of course. And I don't really know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I was about to say, like, do you think there could be a danger in like when people feel that they aren't good looking, or if they feel like um, no one's gonna want them or anything like that? Do you think there could be other dangers that possibly come up about it or come up around it? So I guess in every sense, so physical dangers, emotional dangers, psychological dangers.
I suppose so.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I would say no because I think with the state with mental health as it is, and our history with working with people, clearly
Mhm.
people people who are people who are struggling
Yeah.
sometimes will go to extreme measures,
Behaviors. Mhm.
yeah, behaviors,
Mhm.
um, and permanent behaviors over temporary feelings.
Yeah.
So yes, and I think maybe if I wasn't, maybe if at the time
Mm.
it's difficult because I was gonna say if I wasn't at the time a strong-minded person or no, that's the wrong word. If I wasn't me,
Mhm.
maybe I would have gone further possibly. But I
Mm.
don't know because at that time, looking back on it, I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel like I was capable. I didn't feel like I could get through. I felt very alone. I'm an
Yeah.
only child, so I felt all those things. So I think maybe if I didn't have the support, or maybe if I didn't know that God wants more for me, I
Mm.
could have taken extreme routes.
Yeah.
And people do
Mm.
every day. So it can be very dangerous, and I think this is why when I bring it, this is why I think a lot of it comes back for me, comes back to parenting, it comes back to
Good.
affirmation, it comes back to, because I believe that if at 2 years old, my mum or my dad was standing me in front of a mirror affirming me and making me repeat those affirmations up until I got older, I think I would have been a lot more confident earlier on.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have sought validation in people. I don't think I would have felt invisible or made myself feel invisible. I don't think I would have went through that stage where I felt as unattractive, maybe because maybe it's a puberty thing as well. So maybe I would have felt it anyway, but maybe not as much, or it would have been fleeting, maybe. You know, maybe now in my relationships with people, yeah, I don't know. So I think, yeah, I think, and that's why I was saying it's important to me that I believe if I do ever have children, hopefully I will be doing that from young, because I don't want them to feel that. And and I think a lot of it is cultural. I think a lot of it is maybe cultural as well. Like maybe it just wasn't a thing for my parents, so I don't think they would have thought to do that.
Maybe.
Because it just
But then, but your parents aren't doing that, but you're definitely going to do that. Their parents probably do that, so it's like breaking the cycle. Why
Someone
couldn't
break the
our
cycle.
parents break the
I don't
cycle?
know. Yeah, you're 1,000% right. But I think it's funny enough, I was having this conversation with my partner, and I was saying, and he was saying to me, and I was saying to him at the same time, that I think a lot of my knowledge now comes from the fact that I went and studied counselling. Point
Yeah.
that period. My
1,000%.
parents didn't. It was just trying to get a good job, so you can get a good house,
Yeah.
so you can have a good car, so you can get married, have your children, and live a minimal to successful life with as little racism
As possible.
to your face. Well, to your face as possible, yeah. So that's why I think they came about. I think because I went to uni and we studied counselling, we studied psychotherapy, we studied CBT, and we studied whatever else, and we got doctorates and all these things. That we've met that knowledge, that we've understood that knowledge, that we've been taught that. But I don't think our parents were. I think it was very much for them survival, get a job, get a house, and live your life type thing. But now we're of the generation where we're discovering ourselves, we're going back to our identity, we're doing things that people before us weren't necessarily doing. So yes, yes, I wish I would have done it. Yes, it's a cycle that I will have to break because now I know.
Yeah.
But I also think that me learning, those that are around me, friends, have now learnt, and I think my parents have now learnt from me learning. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Now they're more open or willing or whatever. Because I remember when I went to uni and we studied psychotherapy. The more interested I got, the more those people around me then became.
Got you. Yeah.
So I think, yeah. What do you think, Shan?
I think there can definitely be obviously psychological effects, so like lowered self-esteem, lowered self-efficacy, people not really seeing their worth, their value. Because unfortunately we live in a society, and I think we've said this before as well, that places a lot of value on the external, what you look like, what you sound like, what your hair looks like, what your face looks like, what your body looks like. And if you don't meet a specific standard, then that then has, effects. But I'm also wondering, well, in fact, no, I'm not wondering because I know, because there's research to prove it, that people who then have that lower self-worth, like the after effects that come from that. So even expecting lower of yourself, so not necessarily going for things that you probably could have gone for. So even career-wise,
risk averse.
Exactly, you become very risk averse. You don't really want to be told no. You don't really want to hear the negative sides of stuff. You kind of like get Or you kind of like put a ceiling on what could have been your sky. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
limit
limit
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
So
Become
no, go on.
complacent, don't you?
Say again.
You become complacent
Very
because you're
complacent.
you're scared of risk, and failure and rejection and all those things.
Self-fulfill the prophecy.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah. Pretty much. You're right. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I get worried as well because again, research shows, and I guess things that I've seen in life, just going to all girls schools and whatever else as well. I'm not saying
yep.
it doesn't happen to boys, but
No,
like
but girls school are,
yeah. So like whenever a girl had lower self-esteem, the first person to talk to her, why? She is jumping off of cliffs, bridges, planes, bungee jumping. She will
Mm-hmm.
do whatever just to keep that boy's attention, regardless of how he treats her. And I think that then sets a dangerous precedent for future
Mm-hmm.
relationships and what you then take on, what you don't take on, and it leaves a lot of scarring and a lot of hurt and a lot of things that that person may have to go through. I'm not saying everybody will have to go through a whole load of different stuff, but especially if you were mistreated in the first place and you felt like you weren't enough, you're going to consistently go into every relationship or experience every relationship as though I'm not enough and therefore I have to do things to become enough.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm. What about you, Keem? So in terms of how you think people might be affected psychologically or emotionally?
Oh, goodness me. So yeah, you touched up on a lot there: self-esteem, self-worth. Um, Goodness me, I don't know what else I could add to what you guys have said. I completely agree.
Okay.
I completely agree. Yeah.
So in the last couple of minutes that we've got, guys, how would you say that maybe we can help support our community to maybe address this issue, to maybe practice parts of self-love regardless of what you look like? How do
That's
you
the
think?
thing. I think we need to look inward.
Mm.
What are we doing to be part of the problem, or are we part of the solution?
Mm-hmm.
And then it will then ricochet. Each
Yeah,
one teach one.
most definitely. A good one
Hmm
too. Yes, ma'am.
I think we definitely need to look at what we're doing to perpetuate any propaganda that's out there.
Mm.
Are we actually doing things to help ourselves develop and grow that self-esteem, self-worth that we need,
Mm-hmm.
self-value, to then show other people around us that they
Mm.
can do it for their own self? Because actually sometimes we like to tell people, but if we do it for ourselves, then it's like people gravitate to that.
Yeah, I hear that.
So
So
it's
starting
about
with yourself first.
starting with looking at your flaws, being okay with them, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at trying to develop them to become your strengths,
Mm-hmm.
or trying to develop them so they actually are something that you don't actually have part of your character anymore.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I agree with that. What about you, Miss Ruby?
I agree. I don't know. I don't know what else we could, apart from the basics. There's charities, there's support groups, there's those things that everybody knows. Um, I think, and Nikki was right. I think it's education. I think it's teaching each other. I think it's setting up little support groups in one of your friends' house and being
Yeah.
accountable to each other type thing. I think it's that type of thing. I think it's each one teach one. Yeah, I think it really is
Mm.
sharing. I think it's just stripping it back, going back to the bare basics of
Mm-hmm.
looking inward.
Mhm.
Think about the things that you didn't have.
Mhm.
What do you want to put out there?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then just doing the very basics of just doing it, whether that's through like whether it's verbally, like encouraging someone, writing someone letters to kind of
Mm.
like, be accountable, having the groups that I mentioned, um, having a visual representation of whatever you're aspiring to be or aspiring to have. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
the very bare bones of it. It's just being practical in how as well. Think about how you are as an individual and how you learn, and tailoring it around that.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for joining us for this edition of the Sweet Talks podcast, our quarantine edition. We hope that you've enjoyed it. If you've got anything to talk about in regards to the subjects, please comment in the section below on our YouTube, or if you're on our Instagram, please send us any kind of comments, any emails, whatever else. If you've got any topics as well that you want us to cover during this time, please let us know and we'll be more than happy to go over it. But that's peace and love from us to you, and stay healthy and blessed. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.